Hello, I am Philippe Guéchet from the Engineering Knowledge Competence Center, and today we're going to talk about Sven.
Hello, Philippe. Your mission, Philippe, should you choose to accept it, is to explain in less than 10 minutes why SKF has no water contamination bearing life reduction factor. The issue is that there is a well-known equation created 50 years ago by Richard Cantley, a Timken engineer, that give a life reduction factor based on the water content in the lubricant in ppm. This has a negative effect of SKF image of bearing technical leader. As always, should you or any of your EKCC team fail in your mission, the SKF CEO will disavow any knowledge of your video and existence as SKF engineer.
Wow.
Good luck, Philippe.
So, Cantley. Okay. First of all, Cantley was not the only one to do study on the effect of water on the bearing life. There were plenty of other studies in the 60s and the 70s and even in SKF. You have on the left the different studies made in the 60s and 70s, and on the right some SKF reports, studies made in ERC on that subject. Even the NASA did some study and came up with a curve where you have the water content and the bearing life reduction. Now, Cantley. Why was he so famous when we talk about water content and bearing life? Well, he wrote a paper and did a presentation at the American Society of Legal Engineers in the USA. And in this paper, he talked about the reduction of life due to water content, but also other things like the oil absorption of water depending on the oil type. But in his study, he came out with one curve, which is this one. In fact, you have here three water content: 25, 100 and 400. Three water content only, okay? And you have the life reduction factor. This was done with small TRB, with a certain load, contact pressure of about 2000 MPa, speed about 2700 RPM, with one oil which was a SAE 20 with some anti-corrosion additives, and the bearing temperature was 66 degrees centigrade. And he came up with that curve, and from that curve he could come with this formula. L is the coefficient of reduction and X is the water content in ppm. As you can see, 100 ppm of water gives a life reduction factor of 1. Wow! Many people were surprised, and that was really new. At least something easy to understand and gives life reduction of a bearing depending on the water content. And they forgot all the other parts of the paper. I have the paper here. This is it. And in it, Cantley wrote, I read, "The general applicability of this life adjustment factor is unknown at present. It should be emphasized that other factors such as bearing load and operating temperature could influence the magnitude of water effect, and therefore the usefulness of the above expression could be restricted to bearing applications that approximate the condition employed in obtaining the test data. What does it mean? It means that if your operating conditions are different from those used during the test, if your bearing is different, then the life equation, you can't use it. And this, however, spread. I mean, the life equation. It was a copy-paste from that article, that presentation, that paper. And everybody was using the same. And it became words of gospel. These diagrams are all the same. They come from the Contley curve. Look at them carefully. 100 ppm is a life reduction of 1. I had customers in the pulp and paper industry using that equation for big SRB in press walls operating at completely different operating conditions. Because all the study didn't give the same results, ISO never took into consideration life reduction coefficient due to liquid contamination. ISO take in consideration only solid contamination. So that's one point. Another point is that all tests were done with oil, not grease. The thickener of the grease can change the result even if the oil is the same. The oil base. Now another thing again. This is engine oil. Do you see water? No. In fact, it's dissolved water. All the tests have been done with dissolved water. There's no free water. Free water? Yep. This is free water and some emulsified water in the oil. Free water is really dangerous for the bearing. It can create standstill corrosion, so it weakens the steel, and there are other things important that it creates and reduces the bearing life. Concerning free water, SKF did a test 15 years ago, and it was noticed that for bearings with severe or from moderate to severe corrosion, so from 0.2 to 0.3, that more or less equals the level rating 2 and level 3 and above in the MCOR test. The life is reduced. The life is reduced to 1% of the calculated L10H. 100 times less in life. But again here it is the 1% is for the operating condition and the test procedure done by our colleagues 15 years ago. It may be not your application. Okay. Now you might ask, what is our recommendation in terms of water contents? What water content should not be exceeded? Well, we will come back to that on the next video. Until then, have a nice time. Bye bye.
Well done, Philippe. You managed to do your mission in the requested time. You are now promoted to Application Engineer Level 5. Goodbye, Philippe.
Wow. Davide. Hello, Davide. Yes. Of course. You are at the office. Yeah. I've just been promoted to AE level 5. Yes. And I would like to talk about salary increase. What do you mean there's a tunnel? You're going to lose connection. What do you mean? Davide?